Hello, Spirit speaking. Here's a few moments I like to call the Cosmic Giggles. You know those situations in life that all of us have had, where something happens that just ticks you off, and later a light bulb goes off in your head. You suddenly realize that while you were busy doing damage control in the 3D, the universe may have been quietly running the bigger picture. When that bulb is finally lit, sometimes the whole thing turns out to be nothing short of a one-act comedy show. This is what happens when we skip the check-in. Have you ever had one simple thought and somehow it turned into a full life crisis? Ever try to make a big life decision and within about 30 seconds turn it into a fully licensed overthinking professional? With credentials, of course. Like everything was fine. You had a job, a routine, a system down pat. Everything was stable, functioning, regulated, and then one tiny thought slides in like, what if you did something different? That's it. That's all it said. No warning, no instructions, no plan, no follow-up email. Just one quiet suggestion. And instead of letting it sit there, you grab it, you turn it over, pull it apart, and immediately turn it into something that now requires research. Okay, but what does that mean? You're not thinking, you're conducting a full inquiry, a full internal investigation. Now this thing has layers, depth, and consequences, and quite possibly some paperwork. You've somehow taken one idea and turned it into something that now requires analysis, reflection, and perhaps even a spreadsheet. There might even be tabs involved, because now you're pacing around your house like you've just been handed something extremely fragile, like if you make one wrong move, your entire future is going to completely collapse in slow motion right before your eyes. You slow everything down and you start walking through it like, okay, but what if I do this? And then what happens? And if that happens, then what happens? And at some point, you're not deciding anymore, you're time traveling. And you're 10 years ahead emotionally, reacting to things that have not even happened yet. Preparing yourself for regret in multiple timelines, of course. So naturally, you sit down and go, okay, I just need to get organized, which sounds very calm and very reasonable, until you realize now you've turned the kitchen table into a command center. A full-scale operation is in view. There are notes, categories, you've got a pen in hand like you're about to solve something. Like you're circling things, underlining words that feel important, and assigning meaning where there was none. At one point, you just sit back and you look at it like, oh my God, this is a lot. And somehow, you're not any closer. You're further, way further away. Because this isn't a decision anymore, this is a production. You're not choosing, you're directing. Writing full life scenes, creating alternate timelines in your own life, full casting included, like, okay, in one timeline, you take the job. Everything works out. You walk in on the first day like you belong there, and you've got a new energy about you, a new posture, and you're holding your coffee differently, confidently. You're nodding at people like, yeah, like you've always been this best version of yourself. And then, in an alternate timeline, you take the job and you immediately regret it. Now it's your first week. You're sitting there at your screen. You're pretending to understand what's going on. Someone's explaining something to you and you're just nodding like, yeah, totally. But you have no idea of what they just said to you. None. Then you start looking around. You realize everybody's happy, like really happy, but not like a normal happy. They're all too happy, and none of them are smiling properly. Now you're sitting there like, what is this? You feel like you're quietly eating your lunch in the corner of your cubicle in the insane asylum. Everybody's upbeat, everybody's positive. Something's definitely off. You feel like you're stuck in an episode of the Stepford Wives. Deeply off. You just sit there thinking, I left my other job for this? You can feel it in your whole body and you don't want to be there. And now you're replaying the moment you said yes, like, why did I do that? And then in another timeline, you stay where you are. Everything's fine, nothing's wrong, you wake up, same routine, exact same drive, same conversations, and you're sitting there like, oh my God, not this again. And now that you thought keeps coming back, what if? It's not even loud anymore. It's just there. You can't unhear it because deep down, you already know. That's not the version of your life you actually want. That's why the idea came in the first place. And then there's the timeline where you quit everything and you're like, I'm an entrepreneur with no plan. You're at home, you're on your laptop Googling how to start a business. You've got 14 tabs open, none of them are helping, not one. You're watching a video like 5 steps to financial freedom. And step 1, you already don't understand. You're posting things like, big things coming. Nothing's coming. You're telling people, I'm building something right now. You're not sure what that is, not even slightly. And your schedule is completely open, but somehow you're still overwhelmed. And somehow all of these timelines feel real, like you've already lived all of them. So finally you stop. Okay, I'm just going to ask, Spirit, what should I do? And the answer comes in. Not loud, not dramatic, just clear and simple. And immediate. Go. And for a second, everything lines up. You just sit there like, okay. But then just like that, you're back at it. Okay, but what if I misunderstood that? What if that wasn't actually the answer? What if that was just me wanting it to be the answer? Now you don't trust it. You've asked, Spirit answered, and now you've reopened everything. So naturally, you start asking people, what do you think I should do? Now it gets worse, because it always gets worse. One person's like, go for it. The other one's like, I wouldn't risk it. Now you've got conflicting advice and with no way to organize it. So you try anyway. Now you're weighing your options like they're ingredients, mixing them together, hoping something clear comes out of it. And of course, it doesn't. Now you're just holding confusion. So you go back again. Okay, Spirit, I just need a sign. If this is right, show me something obvious. And your phone lights up. You look at it, and it's exactly what you asked about. Right there. Clear, immediate. And then you think, okay, that was a little too exact. Now I don't know. So now you're moving, because standing still feels unbearable. You move out into the garage and start opening boxes, looking through old files, like clarity is archived somewhere out here. You're thinking, why do I even have this? Then you stop. Spirit, should I do this? And you finally hear it. Yeah. So you make a decision. Everything drops. The overthinking, the timelines, the alternate versions, and the emotional buildup. The entire situation, gone. All of it. And things start moving naturally, easily. And you just sit there realizing you just turned one decision into a full life crisis. You look up, shake your head, and laugh and say, okay, Spirit. And that's when Spirit gives you the cosmic wink.